here we go. Welcome to Strategy and Solidarity Pod, the podcast. This is an act of revolutionary love and defiance and the celebration of the things that bring us comfort, solidarity, solidarity or solace, and which will lead to solidarity and joy as we sit on this cold planet alone together. I am Carlos Karim Wyndham.
And I'm Teresa Logan.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. It's very slow to get unpacked and settled into the house, and nothing is going as quickly as I would like it to. And so it leaves me feeling a little bit unsettled all the time and kind of pulled in 8 different directions between all the things that need done. It is not my favorite, most comfortable place to be. But progress is being made. We are housed and fed and safe, and that's a good start. How about you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Feeling like as you, like I wish things happened. The things I wanted to happen happened more quickly. And that said, if everything that happened more quickly, I think I would be wildly overstimulated and unable to cope with whatever life was. That would be quite a lot. But no, given all things, I'm doing pretty well. I think. It's holiday week. It is in the United States, in the states of United, and our children are feral and home. Mine is in bed. Unsurprising. What? They're all of them are in bed.
My oldest child actually was up already, and she was the one that I least expected to be awake.
Okay. All right.
But the other 2 are still knocked out as far as I know.
What did they do? Like a late night rocks blocks? What happened last night that they're still able to be?
I don't know. I went to sleep. There's a lot of digital art. There's a lot of digital drawing and whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I keep trying to turn on the parental controls, and then they do things like log out of their iCloud accounts, or they know how to get around those things. And I don't feel like I have the energy to spend all my time policing their behavior. But this is a tender spot for me as a mother. Don't feel great about the amount of time my children spend on screens, but I also don't really have a viable strategy for shifting that at this point. I've tried lots of them. But anyway. Feral children. They're not really. I'd love it if my children were feral and were like out, like running the streets, being wild or something. Within reason.
That's where relationships
more than
happen,
just like
now.
Never getting out of their bed, staring into a screen.
Sure. It is a funny thing for us to talk about as we are staring into a screen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which we will do all day, because that is what life is now. I don't love. I loved it first. I loved it. I will say that. And finally adopting what the disabled have been advocating for decades in terms of remote work, such that they could be included in what's going on and what's happening at work. I'm glad that we have finally opened the doorway to that, and that has become what work is now. Is not. I don't think that was quite the goal, but it will usher in the collapse of the giant groups that own all of the business buildings, so that's not bad.
Yeah, watching all the landmark skyscrapers go into foreclosure or get sold for like
$1.50.
fraction of what they last sold for is wild.
It is so wild. Being able to buy a if you wanted it, a 15, 16 floor skyscraper for, yeah, I don't know, go ahead, 3 mil, maybe 4. That's wild. That's wild. That is money that many people, if they got together with 2 friends, could access. And that's not.
I don't have any two friends with whom I could come up with $4 million.
Yeah, as I said that, I was like, I don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, I
Boomer
know people who have that
retirees
kind of money, but they would not give it to me.
with pensions and houses they bought for $50,000.
Yeah, my uncle. Yeah, but also some of my more successful compatriots. I think they could do
Sure.
that if they wanted. I don't know what they would
Yeah.
fucking do with the building after they got it, but
Yeah, I don't know that part either.
I don't know. How was your weekend? What was it? What was it about? Unpacking, I'm sure. I'm sorry. I don't know why I asked that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said. How about you? You had a couple
Resting.
shows
I did.
when you forgot
I
about.
did. I did. I completely forgot because it happened. I had a show. I did earlier in the day have a another fun incident with a neighbor, and the follow up on that took quite a lot of time. By the time I was done with that, I was just about out of cortisol, and I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. And so at 7:30, I started pulling back the covers, and I was like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be? I feel like something's happening. And I looked at my calendar and realized that I had a show, and that the many hours that I had been dealing with the incident should have been preparing for a show. And turns out I made it, but I did barely make it. I walked in and was told, okay, it's going to be me and then you. Okay. I was like, yeah, huh? Yep. I was wearing Birkenstocks and socks because I had to get out very quickly from the time I realized that I had a show. And
Did you take
then
that style choice from the Trolls or the Fraggles?
Hobbits are Fraggles, friend. Hobbits are Fraggles. And that the flip-flops and socks idea with an adopted measure of Birkenstocks is about the most Atlanta thing I think crossover I could do. So it's kind of Drake-ish in that way. Like, I'm not from
That's
Atlanta.
an Atlanta thing?
Flip-flops and socks? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that was a
Yeah,
college
so but
student
it
in
was a good show.
pajamas thing.
Who's in their pajamas?
College students in pajamas with their flip-flops and socks?
They have adopted that very widely. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. You know, I'm talking about like 1998. I'm old. I have no idea what anybody's wearing on their feet, nor do I care. I just realized that as I was saying the reference.
And socks, and the show went well.
It went fine. It went very, very, very well. Really enjoyed the room. The show is called, I believe it's called House Party. I'm going to look right now because they did a fantastic job, and I would hate to not know, but I don't know. And I'll find out.
Okay. You can get to
I believe
at the end.
I believe they're the House Party.
You can look it up on the break.
Yeah. House Party. It's a queer BIPOC comedy show. Hosted by 3 brilliant comedians. Julia Corral is a headliner and a staple in Portland. And it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. Great room. very attentive crowd. And yeah, I really hope this thing continues to build out. It's an awesome night. So that was good. And what else did I do? That's about it. That was a weekend. Driving up and down to the zoo to get my child to to work. A lot of that. Yeah, that was the whole weekend.
Right.
So here we are. It is we're doing hey gang, it's a bonus. You're getting a bonus. What? 2 episodes on a Thursday? That's crazy. Here's a bonus episode. Why? Because it's a second plate. Because you can always shove a second plate in on things. Shove it in. Here's an episode to shove in your ear holes.
Unless you're in the app, then it will just be a regularly scheduled podcast because we've posted all the other ones already.
Yeah. If you're in the app, like,
you should come join us at strategyindsolidarity.org if you want to hear these as soon as they are recorded. And
come join us there.
The fancy edited versions.
As you know, as we'll remind you again, and of course, if you are in those RSS feeds on your favorite podcatcher right now, and you're doing this in the audio way because it is a thing you can do and distract yourself from your great family fun happening over the holiday, then hey, we're here for you because we love you. It's an act of solidarity. So here's a second plate. Here's a third piece of pie for you to have after you've gone to walk the dog and come back inside smelling like weed. So here it is. This is for you. This is for that holiday, the settlers' holiday, America's holiday.
Are you going to Thanksgiving dinner somewhere?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't celebrate the settlers' holiday, nor do I most times acknowledge it. But I felt like, and as we talked about it, we felt like, our listeners, our folks, our community in the app deserved a little extra treat. And as we were thinking about bonus eps, certainly did think about the holiday quite a lot. I've celebrated it. I much like having gone to public school, I read Huck Finn. I don't like it.
Did you square dance?
Fuck yes, I square dance. Are you kidding me? Henry Ford, and who was the first Elon Musk, guaranteed that every child in the United States in physical education was square dancing because it was the least, I believe his words were, niggerish thing he could think to promote the same kinds of eugenics that were happening in the family eugenics presentations that were like, I don't know. What are those things called where you like show off your best cow?
Is that what it was?
Yeah. But where do you show off your best cow or your best sheep for the people? What are those things called? The farm show
County
or the
fair?
County fair. That you used to show off your kids first. And it was like the best American family or whatever the fuck, right? That was his first big push to get whiteness. And then it was square dancing to save white kids from jazz because they might want to sleep with people who had rhythm if they encountered jazz music. And if you do, very hard to go back to square dancing the 1 and 2 and 3 and 5. I would imagine. I don't know. We're not here to talk about how white people make love. Hey, what have you experienced? That was gross. What have you experienced Thanksgiving? You celebrate? You do? You don't? What's your sitchy?
I will go eat at my family's house if invited. I don't put much effort into it beyond that. Um, that's all I got for right now. I
Have
have many,
you?
many more thoughts going through my head, but
Well, share them. I mean, this is a perfect place.
I mean, it's it was part of the turning of the year as a child, right? Thanksgiving and then Christmas and the New Year's, like it's part of that whole holiday cycle. And as a
Yeah, starts
child,
with Halloween, and you just get into it, just costumes and
Halloween, thing.
toys and gifts
Mm-hmm.
and food. Come on,
Yeah, so it's
time
part
off
of that
from
whole thing. So
school.
as a child, I certainly enjoyed those big family events. And when I was young, I was the oldest grandchild of a very large Catholic family. And just really loved being all squished around the table in grandma's kitchen and playing games and eating good food and all of that part.
What were
Um,
your games?
um, there were different phases through time. We played a lot of Hearts, I think, after everyone got computers and was playing Hearts on the computer when Hearts was first included in like Windows or whatever. Before that, there was a card game called Rage that we played for some number of years. There was some Rummy Cube. There was a game
Oh,
from the
these are all
70s
card
called
games.
Pit. There's a game from the 70s called Pit.
Is it? That's also a
No,
card
the
game.
tile.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yes, actually, it is a game based on trading commodities in the stock market, but it's also similar to like spoons. So you're just yelling each other across the table like 2 2 2 1 1. You trade, but you don't know what you're trading. So you're just trading a number of cards to see who can get all 8 of the same commodity in their hand. It
Okay,
mostly is a
okay.
lot of raucous screaming at each other over the table.
All
And
right.
at one point in my older years, not when I was a child, we turned it into multilingual pit, and so we just used a different language that we could count to up to 5 in for every round, and it was hilarity ensued. There's a bell you ring when you win, so you got to hit the bell in the middle of the table. Um, Again, in later years, bananagrams, Quirkle, board games, tile games,
What's a
card games.
Quirkle? I know about bananagrams. What's Quirkle?
I love Quirkle. We'll have a holiday party and I'll bring Quirkle over. Um, it's kind of like tiles, like a pattern dominoes or something. I don't know. There's 5 colors and 5 different shapes, and you can either line up all 5 of the shapes of the same
Apple,
color
Jack, Jacks, or whatever,
or
that kind of
all.
thing.
You're just trying to get a lineup of all 5 of the 5 different shapes in each of the 5 different colors.
Yeah.
It's kind of like dominoes. I
Sounds
don't know.
like
It's
that
just you make a fun,
Apple
pretty
Jacks
pattern.
thing. Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
know.
that's fun. Quirkle. All right.
Cribbage, dominoes,
Yeah. That sounds pretty all right.
So that is my history of appreciating finding time to think about gratitude and spend time with my family. And the certainly had all that colonizer propaganda in my childhood of making the little pilgrim hats and turkeys. And I guess the turkeys are less propaganda, but I don't know, weaving things, a lot of weird appropriation of Native American things. I remember being sent home with like a package of corn or something to do some activity with the family. Like give
What
everyone a
were you
corn
meant to do
kernel
with
to
a
say
package of
something they're
corn?
like corn kernels. Like everybody was supposed to put a kernel in to represent something they're grateful for or something. I'm not sure. Definitely with some appropriation of an indigenous practice of some sort or a pretend one. I'm not sure. My children haven't gotten any of that, partly because
No.
I am who I am, but also like the schools are not pushing that kind of colonizer propaganda anymore, as out here at least. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know about in other places, but my kids asked them a couple years ago. They even know what a pilgrim was. Maybe they hadn't gotten to that part of U.S. history yet. So I think that is maybe falling away for some folks, but the history is still what the history is, so it still sits pretty uneasy with me, and I can't say that I've arrived at a place of feeling like I found the way to manage this. It feels in alignment. Um, but I wrestle with it and try to think about it each year and talk to my kids and try to see what there is to support. I also don't want to go show up to like things I've never been a part of before. So I don't know. I've looked into where some of the like National Day of Mourning things were happening, but I got to be honest, I've never been able to get my kids together and drag them out of the house to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's pretty early. If in particular, if you're going to be with any of the native communities, it's sunrise circumstances, right? When I was in the Bay, we would go to Alcatraz, Alcatraz Island, of course. Many members of the Brown Berets and of AIM had been targeted and thrown in Alcatraz, and the sunrise ceremony in the Bay happens there. It's very chilly. It's lovely. It's lovely. A lot of solidarity building, and that was we did that for a while. It was in the Bay again, one of the most politically historically important areas of the country. Every place is to one degree or the next, right? But for leftist possibility modeling, one of the most important places.
Did
And
they
thanks
occupy
taking,
Alcatraz at one point?
they did. It was a
That's
full
part of it.
occupation. Yeah. And so, it's very inspirational. It's full of possibility models for how to function as an artist who was dedicated deeply to the movement and saw myself as a cultural servant of the left and of the movement. It was a time that we would do thanks-taking shows, which, again, the 90s, my God, there's got to be better words or a different frame that is not that. But it worked for what it was. Those shows, we would raise the funds, right, to give to our partners in the struggle, to folks in the Native American movements, all sort of things. This is prior to a formalized land back movement, so that wasn't necessarily part of the framework of what we were doing. Prior to that, and maybe even a bit after that as well, the food, man, I used to love the food. I made a macaroni that I have a god brother who has been talking about that macaroni for the past 18 years. I used to love to brine a turkey. I would, to make sure it was juicy and good. I love to mix ideas of what I thought and was told at the time was the traditional first Thanksgiving, right? Mixing some seafood, whatever. I would do the whole thing. I
Seafood?
really, well, we'll talk about it a bit because today, as part of the bonus, the food for me is such a deep part of thanks taking the gross, disgusting colonialist holiday that I no longer participate in because I can't find a way. But one way is to, for your second helping, talk about the what we understand of the first Thanksgiving meal, and kind of what it actually was, how that went, and what happened as a consequence of all of that. So let me ask you this: what is your understanding of what was happening at the first Thanksgiving, or thanks taking, or whatever the fuck you call it? What was your understanding propagated or not propagandized or not propagandized, right? Yeah, or not of that meal.
Are you asking me what I was taught as a child or what my understanding is now?
Yeah, but just the both. The both. Whatever. I
Okay.
don't
Well,
know.
the
What comes to
childhood
mind when I ask that?
propaganda was the pilgrims came over and would have died, except for the indigenous folks came and taught them how to put a fish in the hole to grow their corn so they wouldn't starve to death. And then when they didn't starve to death, they all had a harvest meal in which the pilgrims and the native folks sat down at the table of brotherhood to share the harvest of the year and celebrate their shared survival.
Okay, and out of childhood, what did it turn into?
I mean, in the past decade or so, there's certainly lots of things that go around the holiday time every year with varying stories. Some of which are like it was just like straight propaganda. Other ones are like it was actually a meal celebrating a massacre. Other ones saying yes, they did share the meal and then they slaughtered the whole village afterwards. One way or another. I don't know that
A
this
meal
so-called first
celebrating a
Thanksgiving.
massacre? Which massacre? I haven't heard
I
that
think
one.
there's like several different massacres at different periods of time have been
Okay, all
attributed to
right.
the first Thanksgiving. I don't have a list in front of me, but
No,
according
I
to
was
the
just wondering.
knowledge
I
of
was wondering.
memes, according to
Oh,
social media memes over the past few
sure.
years, there's
Meme
been
history. Yeah.
several different massacres attributed to. And then after they had a meal of Thanksgiving, or George Washington declared a meal of Thanksgiving or something, I'm not sure. It definitely seemed not so much a carryover from Pilgrim times as much as propaganda celebrating a mythic past that lets us absolve ourselves of our sins with a pretend meal of brotherly love while erasing and sanitizing all of the violence, trauma, and attempted genocide.
Okay, all right. What was served? What was served at the first Thanksgiving? What did they? What do you know?
In the cartoons, there was definitely turkeys and pies.
Turkeys and pies. What
I would
did
assume
they
that's
say
probably
anything
not what
different
they
in
were actually
history?
eating. I would imagine there was squash and corn. If they're by the water, then I guess seafood would make sense.
Yeah.
They probably were
Uh,
eating fish and not just only putting them in holes in the ground to grow corn.
yeah. No, I don't know
I
what
mean, that
that.
probably is a
Uh,
legitimate theory. It's just like that is the main thing I feel like they taught us
okay, I'm sure
for
that's
some
a
reason.
practice, but that is not no. So everything that I'm going to share as we're having this conversation, it is really like as I'm asking you, it's because I followed through on some research that I had done on with PBS. For those of us who remember the channel, PBS, it's where there was actual educational and
PBS is still
scholarly
on the air. Let's not put them in a
material,
grave before they're there. They're still on air.
uh, where there is actual education and scholarly
Thank you.
material that requires research, and even a news show that is news. McNeil and Lair used to love it. I don't know if it's called. Well, I don't know what it's called now, but PBS, love PBS.
PBS
So
NewsHour. That sounds terrible. Please stop saying it like that.
the PBS News Hour, the
It sounds like pubic
Thanksgiving
hair or
story that they
something.
don't
Please
teach you
stop.
about on PBS is a special that was on this year. Actually, it premiered November 19th. So it is the most contemporary information that we have. And so the misinformation that I had about the first meal is that what they were eating would have included like
That there was one.
is that there was one, and that what they were having was a bountiful meal of like lobster and oysters and this kind of thing.
Mm.
They were off of the shores in Virginia. Absolutely, this was on the shores of Virginia, And this was the Wampanoag, the Wampanoag family and nation. The chief was the one who had invited the folks to actually sit down, and it was part of a negotiation around the land. Negotiation meant to try to save as much of the as many of the people as possible, with the understanding that the pilgrims were coming. So this was happening 1621 in 1621, which would be only 3 years after the first Africans had made their way to the shores of Virginia, and just prior to formal enslavement of people and hostages, rather than using the system of allowing folks to work for a bit and then not be working for the system. So, what they were eating was actually corn porridge and eels.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound good, but sounds right.
No, that sounds rough. So but I will say this: if anybody is wanting to serve a traditional Thanksgiving meal for your family this year, you can save yourself quite a lot of time by serving corn porridge and eels.
Eel probably cooks faster than a whole turkey.
It will cook much faster. It will be, corn porridge doesn't take that long.
I mean, if you want to detox your family from Thanksgiving, that might be the way to do it.
That's the beginning.
Invite them
that's
over,
the beginning.
serve corn porridge and eel, and talk about genocide and colonization and that.
Yeah, and for dessert, you get to have a negotiation about allowance or something. So the idea of the brotherly love and all of this, that came around in 1863 because of not Washington but Lincoln, after the Civil War, and in what may have been the greatest mistake in American history. The Confederacy was just invited back, and in order to get over the War of the North and the South, it was suggested that, hey, let's all have a meal together, all of the brothers back. Of course, they said brothers because they were sending primarily men into war. Let's get all of the brothers back at the table again and make peace and make love. No, that's not right. Make peace and we'll move from there. So anyway, Chief Massaret, who was the and I'm sure I'm just so destroying these names. I apologize in advance. Who was the chief who sat down with everybody in 1621, had a child who is known as King Philip. Have you heard of King Philip? You're just staring at me.
There are probably several of them, but I don't know. Who was King Philip?
Well, this is the son of Chief Master. His actual name was...
I have not heard of him.
Metacon.
He was not an Englishman?
No. He adopted Philip in order to be in easier conversation and in political conversation with the Pilgrims.
Mm-hmm. Were we really talking pilgrims at this point, or just they weren't all pilgrims? Like that was one very specific religious sectarian group.
Right. This was in fact happening at Plymouth. So I am saying probably yes. I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to say. But I do know this, that in 1667, Okay, so now we're 46 years out from the first one. Despite everything that had been negotiated, despite Philip becoming Philip, the settlers decided that at Plymouth they were going to go ahead and just set up another settlement. Right? Does this sound familiar at all? Yeah, sure. If you want to look at Israel or all of the United States, so they decided to set up another settlement, and Philip responded as a business person would, right? It was like, all right, well, let's get a fair dollar for the land. We'll leave the land and only that area of it, but you got to pay us right. And they did. So they were a very, very, very wealthy nation for a time.
It's like trying to negotiate with your cancer. Like, just stay in this one part of my body and don't metastasize anywhere else, and I will pay you with continuing to give you access to my body or something. I don't know. Didn't okay. I'm sure it made sense at the time.
Well,
in
hindsight,
they probably had limited options.
Maybe they had limited options. Maybe they did not. And we can explore a little bit more of that. What do you say? We have a little bit of corn porridge and eels, and choke that down. And
Wait, you're not going to tell me about King Philip?
Oh, yeah. We gotta throw to a couple of things that are going to happen in the break here. So let's have some corn porridge and eels, and then we'll come back and hear more about King Philip.
Sounds good.
Hello, friends. Crystal here, your Vibrant BF, and join me for Tune In Tuesdays right here in Strategy and Solidarity, where I share tools and techniques so that you can build more resilience in your nervous system with the same intention that you put into your FYP pages on social media. It's a great way to come in and get a quick tune-up, check in with yourself, with your mind, body, and spirit so that you can live in your highest timeline. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Join us at strategyandSolidarity.org. And of course, in the app, we would love to hear your voice in the community. See you there.
I don't eat eel. I just
moved
it around on my plate.
Well, all right. How was the porridge?
It's corn porridge. It was good.
Slurp it down. Very slurpy.
I'm very uncomfortable with this conversation now.
All right. So King Philip. King Philip had made a negotiated payment. Thought things were going well, but guess what? As you said, it's kind of like trying to negotiate with your cancer. Doesn't really work. It's going to keep growing. And it did. In 1675, there was a conviction that was held by the Wampanoag, and they convicted another native and executed him for crimes against the community. He was a Christian convert who was working against the nation. Guess how that went?
Not good for anyone, I would guess.
Not great. Not great. The settlers got upset and they declared war. And began
because they executed a traitor to their nation.
Yes. Yeah. But he was with our nation now.
But he's Christian, so his life matters more than yours.
He's Christian. He speaks English. He talks to us. That's our one. Don't touch our one. And so they tried to say, "Hey, you can't touch our one," and they did what the whites were prone to do at that time. Started with the pillaging and the barbarianisms and the raping and the killings and the
in very Christian-like form. Because that's how Christians are meant to behave.
Well,
That's what Jesus would do. Right?
I don't know if it's what Jesus would do, but it certainly is not out of character with the Inquisitions, shall we say. So the good Christians had pretty much pushed Philip to the hilt. He was pretty much done at this point, right? It was like you said we were done, then you wanted this other land. I sold you the land, then you got all up in our business when we convicted somebody in our nation because you said he was in your nation. How was he in your nation? You wrote this whole thing back in 1619 telling us what a white person was. This is not a white person according to that outside of the religious conversion. What are you talking about? Right? It was not down. He was not down.
Well, originally it was religion. It was primarily religion, not race initially in those laws.
Right.
It was about what
in order to bring
followed.
who in.
And
though?
so a lot of brown people converted
Yes.
to Christianity so they could be free and have rights as a human being. And they're like, oh, no, wait, we don't mean you, though. And then they changed the laws again. But initially, that was the primary distinguisher was religion and not neither country of origin nor race.
There we go. And now we're, what was that? 1619, 1623. We're now 1675. Race has started to become an issue. And certainly Christianity is the biggest issue of the day. The man is executed, and the whites start acting up and having race riots, and King Philip has had it now. He's done. So he decides, all right, bet. We're going to deal with these. We're done. We're going to deal with them now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and expand our territory, and we're going to expand our relationships with the people around us, right? We've all been on this land. This is Turtle Island. I don't know what these fools are doing here in the first place. So they had conversations with the Nipmuc, with the Podunk, with the Narragansett, and the Noshaway. So this meant now that while the Pilgrims had this place in Virginia and this other place in Virginia, right on the tip, right at the edge of the water, they were now completely surrounded by 4 nations who took over miles and miles and miles of territory, right? Who not took over, but who owned miles and miles and miles of territory on every single side of these Pilgrims, right? And so they decided that they were going to go ahead and declare war once they had actually negotiated their alliance. And when they declared war, boy, oh boy, if you could find it in history, and it's not one of which we were taught, this would be the beginning of what we now know as King Philip's War. You know that one? No? I don't know.
It rings a faint bell, but no.
Okay. This was the incident that was not just a matter of taking over one plantation, one small part of a settlement. These folks went about the business of burning down the whole of Providence, Rhode Island, right to the goddamn ground. They were done. They were whacking white people right and left. They just were not having it anymore. And the thing is that the settlers were absolutely unprepared for this reality. They didn't know how to fight guerrilla war. They knew how to fight English war. And so they weren't ready. They were just getting,
which was like everyone line up in a line with a musket and stand there and see if someone hits you or not.
Exactly. You shoot, we'll duck, then they shoot, then while they're reloading, we've reloaded while we were ducking, then we'll shoot, And while they're doing that, these warriors who are trained in guerrilla warfare from four different nations just were absolutely slaughtering them and just like taking back all of their land, taking back everything. And then they got back their porridge and their beds and their chairs, and they lived happily ever after. And it's their land to this very day. No, I'm sorry. Something else happened.
Story. Mm-hmm.
Something else, right? That would be where. Okay, so in the movie, that's where you would end, right? That's kind of like, and then and then you just put it on the screen because nobody wants to see what happened next. Clearly, the whites were very despondent about this. Very despondent about this.
I mean, were there any of them left?
Well, there were, but they were not all in this area, and so they had called in over to their king.
Next town over, or whatever.
Next town's over, next plantation's over, whatever. They started looking at what was being done, how the war was being fought, and they said, "You know what? We got guns. What if we fought the guerrilla war with guns and did it the way that they're doing it and use our muskets and use our cannons and get down. Let's get down." And they did. As a result of having the steel, the germs, the lack of soul and absolute determination, they were able to enslave, slaughter, or force to flee over 40% of the original inhabitants of the area and claim it for their own. Those who were still there were enslaved along with Africans and made to build and work the land for the farmers there forward as the expansion then happened and so forth. So that said, what I find incredibly inspiring about this story is that resistance movement that happened in 1676 that really set off after the coalition was built in 75. It took a year to build that coalition. It took a full generation of trying to negotiate with a tiger. And after a generation, it was realized that that was an impossibility, and they fought. And much like the folks who had taken over Alcatraz, much like the Brown Berets and the folks who were down with Cesar Chavez in Denver, much like the Black Panthers, much like the Puerto Rican movement, they fought and they claimed victories that have resonated, and if it's resonating for me now, since 1625. That's pretty goddamn impressive. That's pretty goddamn impressive to me. Yeah, so that's kind of now
the continued fight over the centuries.
Well, the continued struggle over the centuries, right? And the understanding that, like, in each of their circumstances, right? And you had pointed out the oh shit of feeding the white people, and then pointed out the oh God, what are we doing of selling land to the white people and agreeing to move, right? And yeah, in retrospect, absolutely. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. And not because they're white, because they're colonists. Don't do that. You don't do
Yeah.
that, right? That's the whole point of that new show on Apple. Like, don't let the aliens just take you because they're saying that they're going to make it good. They're not going to make it good. What is it called? I just saw it. It's so good.
I don't know.
It's the
I
one
haven't
all the
seen
white
it.
people are talking about. Oh,
Invasion or something?
shit. No. It's brand new. The Vince Gilligan is doing it. The woman who was in damn it. The Horrible Lawyer show. Oh, damn it. See, I got all distracted. Now I have to find this out before I can return to talking about this nonsense. Here it is. Pluribus on Apple.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Which is not called Apple Plus, by the way. Don't call it that. They changed their name. Their name is Apple TV. But you have an Apple TV if you have an Apple TV. So I don't know what they're doing. You know, we're almost down to one company. It's going to be so good. So
this is what it's always been called. It's always been called Apple TV.
No.
Disney
Apple
Plus.
TV was the thing. It was no. It was they changed it. It was Apple Plus because Apple TV was that little box. That little box was Apple TV, and that little box that you could buy and run your stuff through, that was Apple TV. But they just changed it when they just got purchased again, or did another acquisition or whatever. And if you look at the Apple symbol now, that's why it's got color behind it, like it looks like it used to look on the computers, because they switched it again. And we have to learn that. Yeah, it's like 20th Century Fox is 21st Century Fox is Fox. It's just, I hate it. Point being.
Okay.
And I did have one. That the allowance of and giving permission to, right? The bending the knee to, the acceptance of, the agenda or actions of the settlers, of the Ravengers, is in fact the problematic part of the story, right? That is the problematic part of the story.
Well, it's even like looking at politics now. It's, coming back to your point of it's hard to win at chess when your opponent's playing genocide. If you come from a worldview in which violently colonizing, stealing, and destroying someone else's way of life doesn't even exist within your worldview, then you don't expect other human beings to behave in that way. I think that's part of the problem with liberals versus conservatives in the US is liberals keep thinking there's some way to maybe if we just give them this, maybe if we just come, work across the aisle on that. Like, no, they're not going to reciprocate. They're following the colonizer history of take and destroy. There's not a way to negotiate with that. And you can see how, if that's where you're coming from and there's not a way to get the aliens to leave, that trying to negotiate or thinking that they would be reasonable people with whom you can negotiate something and come to some agreement for mutually beneficial interdependence makes a lot of sense. But, in hindsight and looking at how we're still living out that legacy now, that's not what it is. It's take and destroy. So figuring out how to put up boundaries and recruit people over to the other side. I don't know. I feel you on the inspiration, but it also is feeling very depressing at the moment as well.
I didn't say, listen, that's why we're not looking all the way at the end of the story. Come on. You can't go all the way. It's Andor, right? It doesn't end well. This is not going to go okay. But we're talking about King Philip being in there and being like, you know what? Bet this is how we do it. We're going to surround you with all of these nations. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be us. Mm-hmm. It's going to be everybody. Now, unfortunately, what we also know is that if your movement is driven by a single figurehead, and that single figurehead is found and then murdered, that will end the war. And it did. And it did. That's how that war ended. And then that's when the
With
expansion.
the assassination of King Philip.
Yeah. Who was tracked down by another Anglo-Saxon native who had decided to be down and get his land and get his yummies, and
They were
hey,
like a
this is
Kanye
where he
follower.
is. Say it again.
They were a Kanye follower.
Yes,
they decided
absolutely.
the world was actually flat.
Yep, it's flat, and Nazis are good, and nooses are necklaces, and it's cute. So that's how that story ended. Now, Andor ended very much the same way, right? It's like the struggle continues. It's not until we have reached some place, and we're not going to, of shared understanding that is created from a place that is not one of necessity, right? As long as folks are still playing, what was your game? Take all the stocks. Your
Pit.
Thanksgiving game, Pit, right? As long as we're still playing Pit and Monopoly, and that's the framework under which we are working, right? That's not how Andor won, and he was not a good dude. Cassian Andor was not a good dude. He became somebody who did good things out of absolute necessity, learned what was good, and then became a complicated dude fighting for good. Right? Like he's not an angel, but he's on the side of them. Right? And that complication and understanding where we live and where we stand, for me, is what makes it easier to, and aside from practicing it for years, on the night of Thanksgiving, when everybody's doing whatever they're doing, just be home and not care. Like, whatever. I don't care. I'm watching a movie. Watch some Pluribus. Watch some murder movies. I'm going to get, like, I'm good. I'm not really attached that way. And I don't feel anything about it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I didn't even realize it was Thanksgiving coming. Like, I had to ask somebody what the next holiday was. Like, it's like, okay, what is it? Why aren't the kids in school? What the hell is going on? That takes time to get there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about over 20 years of trying to get it out of my system, going from, okay, well, I'll still cook and get together with all of my leftist friends, but we're calling it Thanksgiving. Okay, I'll put on a party, but we're not going to do the party they're doing. And it's like, no, I'm not counter programming anything. I'm just going to have a life. I'm good. I don't need this. Like the planning of how do we do the guerrilla warfare. I need that. I don't need this thing of like, let's all fucking have I'll make macaroni for it though, if anybody wants it.
When we have the new constitutional convention, or we successfully secede from the union, or whatever it's going to be in the new nation, we can have a harvest festival celebrating. We can call it King Philip's Day, or
I'm sure he didn't call himself King Philip. I'm sure that was it. Again, right? Like the nations were not like, this is our king. Like, nigga, that's white people talk. What are you doing? But he was King Philip because he had to negotiate.
What was his real name?
I got to find my notes. Where'd I put my notebook?
You had it written down.
I know. Yeah, I did. I moved it because I think
there's space and a use for having a harvest festival space that really is about gratitude for what the earth has offered and how we've survived the year and how we're going to make it through another one. Like, I think that's separate from genocide and colonization, that figuring out what and how to create that space separate from this history of Thanksgiving, is a thing we could figure out how to do.
Yeah.
But we probably have to
Metacon
sacrifice
Yoriete.
this one to get there.
Yeah.
What's
It'd
that?
be like a celebration of the Yarias de Metacon, but like that's not the right language, right? Obviously, the gorillas of Metacon, but his name is Metacon. I will say that Spirit is telling me how to accent that. I do not know. It was a Black person who did the broadcast that I referenced earlier. I don't think that anything was said in the language in the correct accent, but again,
Probably
that's the
wasn't
price of
English or
colonialism.
Spanish pronunciation.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sure. Metacon, like, why is it that Spanish? Metacon. I have no idea. Metacon, I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't that. Anyway, that's the story of the first Thanksgiving dinner as far as we know for now. And I'm sure there will be more as we keep learning more. The recipe for eels and porridge, though, just to slurp it up. I want to
Might
slurp
be the
up some
recipe
dinner.
for the last Thanksgiving. Just to bring it full circle.
Right?
We just all decide next year. We don't have time this year for it, I don't think, but 2026, just everyone serves corn porridge and eel, and we mark it as the last Thanksgiving. If we survive until like 2030, then we can have a new harvest festival celebrating that we survived and what we built on the other side. But maybe next year we just need all make a plan. Corn porridge and eel, last Thanksgiving. Time to move forward.
And
sacrifice.
And we'll
sacrifice that.
Plan it on
the creation of something
a
new.
super beaver moon. I love a super beaver moon.
Super beaver moon.
You know, I love a throwback too. Hey, do we have things to plug? What's an upcoming thing people can join us at? Well, first of all, join us in the app. We said that before. We said it at the break. We said it at the top because we'd love for you to be part of that community.
Strategy.org.
That's the way to do it. If you really feel like you want Apple to have that extra bit of the coin because Pluribus is that good to you?
They haven't even approved like our plans or whatever on there. I don't even think you can sign up on Apple. So you gotta go to strategyandSolidarity.org and then you can download
Apple.
the app.
No, except for if you're listening to this on Apple, and then we love them. And then we love them. In fact,
just
you could
sign
leave
up
us a
at
5-star.
strategyandSolidarity.org. Then you can download the app.
Download the app, become a part of the community.
You make everything so combative so quickly, like for no reason.
Hey, there's time for weapons, and it's always. I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's why they won't let you have any.
Exactly. That's why I'm not allowed to have a single one. Also, we can be found on Instagram. We can be found on YouTube. We can be found. Where else can we be found? Facebook, of course. Strategy and Solidarity.
TikTok? I don't think we have
TikTok.
a
all
Strategy
the
Solidarity
places.
TikTok page yet. Do you have TikTok?
The page isn't there, but some of our words are.
We have a transformation story time we're hosting tomorrow, but by the time people hear this, it will probably have already happened. That's why you should be in the app.
That's going to be
you can find out when things are happening.
In the app. You won't be late, and you're never late if you're in the app because it'll all be there. Yeah, I think that's enough bullshit. I don't know. I can't think of anything else that we're supposed to be doing. Hey, thank you to Amani Will for the use of the dope ass song. Thank you to our supporters and
corn
members.
Porridge and eel t-shirts. The last Thanksgiving corn porridge and eel. It could be our merch.
Joshua,
we'll donate the funds.
Corn porridge and eel t-shirts. Get on it. Hey, Grok, make a corn porridge and eel t-shirt.
No. We're not using
not
AI.
Grok. No,
that's colonized. That's
Joshua, you do it.
Mechanized
In
colonized.
fact, Joshua, kill Grok. That'll be your guerrilla warfare taking move. Joshua, you kill Grok.
Good one.
Thank you for being here.
You're right. I don't have those kind of skills, but I think we do need like a hacker army to declare war on the AIs because they are the epitome of mechanized colonizer mentality.
Thank you to everybody in the community who makes this possible. You can find us in the app and at the store strategyandSolidarity.org. As we said, you can become a supporter. You can join. We've got cool stuff there. There's going to be an Eels and porridge soup recipe. I don't know. Thank you for listening. We do hope that you will find comfort and joy in a world that's on fire. It is an act of defiance and love. You can find me if you want to, carloskareemwyndham.com. Also on Instagram at El Caballo Negrito, and on Facebook under my name, Teresa. Where are you on the socials?
You can find me under Teresa Logan or TMC Logan at most places. I enjoy most threads these days. That's where I'm enjoying spending my limited social media time the most.
Excellent. Hey, do you have a question? Do you have a comment? Go ahead and give us a righty right at info@strategyandsolidarity.org. Drop a question, drop a comment, drop a thought. And if you are listening to this as a podcast, whatever your favorite podcaster is, why don't you leave us some stars and comment? And you know what? We'll read that too. We'll read your comment.
And then send it to a friend.
Send it to a friend. Share it with a friend. You've got an extra slice this week. You got an extra slice of pie right here. It's in your ears. Pull it out. Pull out the pie made of eels and porridge, and pull it out of your ears and serve it to a friend. That's a great thing to do for a holiday. Okay, I think we're done, right?
I think we're done. That's great.
Okay, we'll see.
You want to
tell
where to find us 5 more times?
There's 5 other ways to find us. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Take good care of yourselves out there.